All right, let's go and get started. Let me get the lights adjusted and the TV on. That might help. So, how's it feel? Our last lecture in Engineering 111. You didn't have to be so happy about it. You know, it was a joke, not a very funny one. Let me go ahead and get the sign-in sheet passed around. So if you're just logging in or just coming in, we're having some network issues this morning. The Site CS folder is giving us some headaches, and the network drive is giving us some headaches. So right now I've got that the homework is due today. Oh, that might be the IT guy. Let's see what he says. Nope, that's not the IT guy. Never mind. All right. So I've got the homework is due today, and I was going to have the solution post up at 9:30. However, if we still have network issues, I'm liable to extend it to however long is necessary for you all to get the homework in and submitted. So we'll sort of roll with the punches on that. Let's talk about course evals. So what I am able to see is how many students have completed it, and that's all. I can't see anything else. Right now, there are 27 students in the class, and 25 of you have completed it. I'm missing 2, okay? I'll make you a deal. If everybody completes their course eval and shows me, which that's another thing. I know that 2 people have yet to do it, but I have 3 people who have not shown me proof that they've done it. So somebody has done their course eval and didn't show me, so that's just a heads up. I'll make you a deal. If everybody does theirs, I'll give you an additional 5 points, okay? But everybody's got to do it, okay? So I got to have 100%. So I think for most of you, you're probably like, I did it. So yeah. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and complete that. Again, you can rake me over the coals if you want. Just go ahead and get it done. All right, sound good? All right, let's talk about the exam, and then I might entertain some questions. I might duck out for a second and see if I can get a hold of IT. But let's go ahead and talk about the exam. Okay, so let's see, is my clicker working? Yeah, okay. So let's talk about the exam. So the exam for us, it's on Star Wars Day. It's on May the 4th. Y'all ever heard that? May the 4th be with you. Cheesy jokes, I know. So here, a couple things on how the exam is going to work. We're going to do the same thing that we did last time, which is we turn off the notes and everything. But one of the things about MATLAB is it's very easy to just copy and paste old code or old sequences of code into a program. And what we found is there's nothing wrong with doing that if you're building, you know, a program that you're going to use for practice or for research or something like that. But in a hour, 2-hour setting on an exam, it ends up usually creating more problems than solutions. It's usually a lot easier to literally just write the program from scratch. That's just an experience thing from some of the other faculty that have taught this class a number of times before. So this is what we're going to do. The exam's going to be closed notes. We're going to turn all the PDFs off on Blackboard. But we also recognize that MATLAB, there's a lot of crap you got to keep in your head. So we're going to let you all use an 8.5 by 11 formula sheet, double-sided. You can put whatever you want on it, whatever. If you want to take every single lecture note that we've posted, scale it down to the point you need a scanning electron microscope to read it, and do that, that's fine. You can put whatever you want on it, okay? So you could put, you know, MATLAB formulas, you could put examples of code, anything like that to make your life a little easier on the exam. Okay, sound good? We'll also have guest credentials for everybody to log in, you know, on the computer, so that way, you won't have your V drive stuff. The idea is you'll log into the computers, do your assignment, and then either email the assignment to me, or if you get finished early, you know, I can just we'll get a flash drive and you can dump it on the flash drive. So, sound good on format? Everybody okay with this so far? Okay. So the exam is going to be a lot like the first exam. There's going to be a part 1 and a part 2. So part 1 is going to be pencil to paper computations. And I'll be honest, I'll go ahead and tell you, I think computations is a bit of a stretch. It's really more about your comprehension of basic programming and basic flow of computations. The math, the actual math is pretty simple. It's more about understanding Excel, understanding MATLAB, and things like that. I mean, another thing I'll go ahead and tell you, the exam is primarily focused on MATLAB. However, there were a couple ancillary topics at the end that we discussed with Excel that we figure it's fair that, you know, that you all get examined on. I know that some students, you know, MATLAB doesn't come as naturally as Excel, so we wanted to give you a chance to shine with your Excel capabilities. So part one, roughly 8 to 10 questions. You can use your calculator, you can use a pencil. As for the formula sheet, I'm sort of hit or miss as to whether or not you can use a formula sheet. I'm just going to go ahead and say, yeah, you can use your formula sheet on part one. I don't know that it'll really help, but I mean, you'll see what I mean when you start taking the exam. That's not really what it is. So your formula sheet is probably going to help you generate code on part two. You're going to be generating code on part one. It's more about interpreting what's going on. We are going to limit you to 45 minutes on part one. I fully expect the majority of you, if not all of you, to be finished before 45 minutes. But the idea is to cut you off so that you all have ample time to complete part two, which are going to be Excel and MATLAB exercises. So you're going to have an Excel exercise and a MATLAB exercise that you will do on your stations and then email back to me. Or, like I said, if you finish early, I can bring you a flash drive and we'll just dump it, and there we go. So let's talk about what is on the exam. Now, let's first off, I think it behooves us to talk a little bit about Excel. So we had a lot of Excel on exam one. So what didn't we have on exam two? Well, we didn't really talk about functions, or at least heavily. So make sure that you can use basic functions, you know, sines, cosines, sums, things like that. Make sure that you can do basic statistical computations in Excel. Means, medians, standard deviations, mins, maxes, stuff like that. Make sure that you can use the data analysis toolbar to plot histograms and things like that. And make sure that you can do cell formatting, you know, change the color of a cell, the font, all that, font color, all that stuff. So there's your Excel topics. Now let's dig into MATLAB. So MATLAB, make sure that you can do basic computations, just basic math. Make sure you can define variables, and make sure you can define a value, a vector, a matrix, and that you understand the difference between those. Make sure that you can program user input requests. You know, instead of saying x equals 20, say x equals input. Please enter the value of x so that, you know, the user can input that accordingly. Be able to utilize if else or if then statements in order to increase the robustness of your program, and make sure that you can create vectors and arrays using linspace or ones and zeros. You know, like what does 1 colon 2 colon 11, like what does that mean? Let's see. What else in MATLAB? Make sure that you can use vectors for polynomial computations. So you understand how to use polyfit, you understand how to use polyval, roots, convolution, which is just foiling. Make sure you can do the interpolation function, which it's not INTERPL, it's RP1. That's a 1, not an L. Be able to perform element by element computations, so that's your dot operator, or inside a for loop. You know, we had that on the last homework assignment. Make sure you can plot, you know, do basic plotting of data, and do basic formatting of your charts. You know, put an axis title, put a chart title, put a legend on there. Make a red dotted line with circle markers, you know, stuff like that. Make sure you can deal with matrices, you know, how to reference a matrix, how to modify a matrix, how to create a matrix. Make sure you can navigate a for loop and put an if-else statement inside a for loop, okay? And finally, make sure that you can save and load map files and that you can manage external data, you know, take data in, input it into MATLAB accordingly. That is exam 2, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is shut up for a little bit and see if anybody has any general questions. I'll entertain questions maybe till about 8:30, and then I might take a little bit of a break to go down to IT to see if they can get everything turned on. I'll come back. But at this point, I want to just shut up and let you all ask literally anything you want. Yeah. I will. You'll. Because this isn't a statistics class, it's just understanding the software and understanding the methods. I'm not going to expect you all to come up with the bin spacing or the bucket sizes, if you will. Now, at the very, on the very far end of that, I might say just plot a histogram, and whether you're in Excel or MATLAB, or especially in MATLAB, a lot of times it'll just make a blanket assumption, and that's fine. But I'm not going to expect you to come up with bin sizes all on your own. One thing I might do, though, is on the homework assignment, there was something bins 30 to 100 in increments of 5. I might expect you to be able to interpret that text, and that text means 30:5:100, so that you can properly code it. But I won't make you just create it. So, that sound good? Anything else? I mean, please, this is your time. This is the one chance you have to ask anything you want. But, the formula sheet could be typed? Yeah. You can put whatever you want on it. It can be typed. You can have images, calligraphy. If it helps. Anything. Yes. The linear interpolation be on the written part of it of the paper? It's possible. It is possible, but I will say this: we did have not the. All right. Here's how I'll answer that. On exam 1, we tested you all on the ability to do linear interpolation by hand, and that was covered in something like lecture 2 or 3 or something like that. We're not covering lectures 2 or 3 on this. This is not comprehensive. This is from 15 to 28. I will say that there is a MATLAB function that can do linear interpolation, and I do expect you to understand that, but I am not expecting you to do it by hand. This is not comprehensive in any way. To add to that, there is some Excel on here, and so because there is some Excel, naturally there is some stuff in the first Excel lecture that you need to understand here, but we're doing our best for this not to be comprehensive. I'm not a comprehensive guy. My thought is I examined you on lectures 1 through, 13 or 14, whatever before. I don't need to do it again, so I won't do that to you. Fair point, or fair way of answering that? You won't be navigating a Rubik's Cube, I'll give you that. Now, what I will say is this. I will turn everything off on Blackboard. Nothing will be activated. However, if you need a data file, it will be posted to Blackboard. In other words, when you go to course content, there should be only one thing there, and it should be your data file. So, yes? You can save it onto your desktop or onto your drive. That's not an issue. You won't be logging in to your terminals with, like Smith1 or whatever your username is. You're going to be provided guest credentials, and it'll be, the username will be like XJ4 exclamation point semicolon 3. So everybody will have guest credentials. You can save to that, though, no problem. The only thing that I ask is that at the very end, you just either email your Excel files and your scripts to me, or if you finish early, you can come up and we'll just transfer them onto a flash drive or something. Yes. You'll know when. You'll know when you need to. Let me say something on the side, though. Okay, so the question was, do you need to provide commentary in your code? You will know specifically when you need to put comments and when not. You can make the blanket assumption that if I don't directly ask for comments, you don't have to put them there. So there's that. One thing I do want to say, though, about part 2, and I think this is a general trend with MATLAB. Okay, so let's say I give you a program that requires 20 lines of code in order to finish it, and you're writing the code, and line 4 isn't working, and you're just, just staring at it because line 4 isn't working. This is really important. Don't just stop. Write out everything else. Okay. Because I'm not going to be able to give you partial credit if you get to line 6 and you're having an error and then you stop writing. No, keep writing. Remember another thing. You can use Control-R and Control-T to turn a particular line of code into a comment. Remember, what is the big deal about comments? They're not executed, right? MATLAB just ignores them, right? Anything after a percent sign, MATLAB just goes, it doesn't pay attention to it. Okay, so you can line by line turn your code into comments and figure out what's wrong with it. Okay, but the big point is don't stop. Okay, because I'm not going to be able to give you partial credit if you just haven't written anything. Okay, so keep writing, then start diagnosing, take it a line at a time, and go from there. And don't get me wrong. Okay, it's very possible that you could have a full program that doesn't work, and you still might even get an A on it. And the reason it didn't work is because you had one parenthesis out of place, and you spent 2 hours trying to figure it out. That's okay, I will deduct for the parentheses, not for the whole program not working, okay? So be aware of that. Is everybody okay with that? All right. Any other questions? Yeah. That's a good question. Bit of both. I'll say this. Your program is not going to be super duper massive. It is also not going to take the most esoteric, complex components that we talked about all semester and examine you on just that. It's going to be fairly basic, fundamental programming. It is going to be somewhat comprehensive. I mean, I will go ahead and tell you that, but it's not going to be everything. With beyond that, I can't really say much more. So, is that okay though? Does that kind of answer your question? Because this is your chance. Anything about MATLAB, Excel, life, anything. It's the calculus and physics and chemistry classes that are getting you right. Is that what it is? That's what it is, right? No, it's CAD. That's what it is. So hold on. This is an important one. Go ahead. You're talking about in the top right corner? Absolutely. It doesn't. What it does, that's a good question. So the question was, can you use the help directory in the top right corner of MATLAB? My response is sure. And it does not take you to a web page when you, I would say open MATLAB, but you can't. But when you open MATLAB and search on the top right, and you say sine function, it opens up a help window. It does not open up a web page. Now I'll give you that the MATLAB web page for the sine function and the MATLAB help page for the sine function are the same thing. But yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. To me, the way I look at it is this: a good programmer does, in my opinion, is not someone who has memorized every single symbol of syntax for every single command and every single function. A good programmer knows the fundamentals, and if there's something they need to do that they haven't seen before, they can navigate, the commentary, the help docs, and so on and so forth to figure it out. I've been programming with MATLAB for years, and there's still stuff that, I didn't know that function existed. And then, but for me, my thought is, okay, I'm the teacher for this class. Well, if there's something I need to figure out, I have to be able to go on and figure it out myself. And the way I'm going to do that is to navigate the commentary, the help docs, go through the examples, and sort of sort of learn on my own. And that's really what the hallmark of what we're trying to teach you all in general. You all graduate with a bachelor's degree in engineering. We're not going to teach you everything that you'll ever need to know, period, in everything. You know, we're teaching you the fundamentals and hopefully equipping you with the ability to learn the stuff that you've never seen before. You know, that's the whole point. So, but the short answer is I don't have a problem with that. Not at all. Anything under the sun. Yeah. How long do I expect the exam to take? All right, so part one, I fully expect everybody to be done within 30 minutes, if not sooner. Part two, in all honesty, that might take an hour, maybe a little longer. I don't think you're going to be at a time crunch for the exam. I can guarantee you that part two will definitely take longer than part one, and I think you'll recognize that when you see it because there's an Excel problem and a MATLAB problem. But I think the fact that part two might take a while is offset by the fact that I think you'll just fly through part one because it's in my opinion, it's pretty straightforward. Just it is what it is. So. I'm expecting a big rush of them within 15 minutes turning in. So. One thing I will say though, and this is something I'll mention to you all now, on part two, you're going to be using guest credentials. So when you log into this computer, it's going to say, hello, we're setting things up for you, right? So I'm going to give you the guest credentials during part one. My advice is to log in and let it do its thing during part one so that when you take part two, it's already logged in and ready to go. And you should be able to still access your email and whatnot to submit the part two files to me. That's not an issue. So. You're right. We're good. That's a very good point. So the question was in regards to the data analysis tool pack that you had to go on and activate. If you need that, we're going to provide everybody instructions on how to activate that. I don't expect you to remember how to do that. That's a non-issue. So if you need the data analysis tool pack, everybody will be provided with instructions on how to do that. That's a good point. But the actual data analysis tool pack itself is on all the computers. That's not the issue. The issue is just activating it. Okay. Anything else at all? You all feeling okay about this exam? Are you worried about it? Are you know? I mean, it's not your Calc 1 final. Or Calc 2 final, I should say. It's not the Calc 2 final. That's the one, right? It's not Calc 1, it's Calc 2. That stuff is just so integral to everything that we do in engineering. Integral. I know. I just got a series of bad calculus puns, right? Yeah, they're not even original anymore. They're just derivative. I could come up with some, we could mix it up. We could do some chemistry puns. This class is boron. I guess you'll just have to sulfur through it. That one's bad. That one's the one that, like, this spot right here on your brain, you just go, ow. Ow, right here. Ow. Anything at all. I tell you what, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a small break. I'm going to go down to IT. I'm going to ask them, what's up? And and I will be back. So let me pause this. Let me see if this got back. Whoop, whoop. All right. Yes. The sign-in sheet's going around if you haven't signed in. That's right. It's not the Calc 2 final, right? It's the Dynamics final. Now here's the thing. What I tell everybody about statics is it's simple. Everything going up, it equals everything going down. But in dynamics, not the case. Case.
If we sat next to each other, David would think we cheat. We have the same grades on all three of our exams. He's one row in front of me. Weird. I had a B.
You have like an X-Men mental link or something.
I just knock on the table.
Morse code the entire test.
This is recording.
That's okay. Because if you could cheat on one of these, you just don't do it.
He just went, just don't do it.
There's no way. Yeah, he's. Those are going to statics. Go to learning center, please. It will help.
Just do it.
So much.
What about learning center yesterday?
I'll just wait till we get to structural analysis and civil, and I just go, oh, the hell with all that IJK stuff. We don't even use it.
That's what I would. When we really get to IGK stuff, statics do a lot.
A little bit.
No dot and cross products, none of that.
Yeah.
No, it's not that it's not important. It's just in structural analysis we present a new way of doing it all together where it's a simpler approach, but we're doing more complicated problems. That's sort of the way that we go about it. Well, like, you all probably did a shear and moment diagram in statics, but it was probably a really, really simple one.
Yeah. Like being, just, being
With like 1 point load on it or something. In structural analysis, there's going to be hinges and fixed ends and triangular loads and well, you'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. That's a good question. If I were you, there was a question on when do you want to be here. We are starting the exam at 8 o'clock in the morning. It would probably behoove you to show up a few minutes early. If you show up a few minutes early, we can go ahead and get the login process started on your computers. I don't have a problem with that at all. I mean, you won't be able to use them for part one again, but going through that setup crap during part one will make your part two go smoother. So the big thing is just do not forget your formulas sheet. Is MATLAB working? Somebody check your Site CS folder. Everybody's working on something else. I don't blame them because I'm going to open up MATLAB. I'll try it up here. Okay. Well, at least right now, if you've got some tweaks or bugs you'd like to work out on your homework 8, it looks like MATLAB is functional. So we got that. Let me see if I can open up Site CS. Looks like Site CS is not working, so we're getting there. All right, it says the server's updating and the folders should be available shortly, so we'll give it a few minutes. That's what IT just texted me. In the meantime, you can work on your MATLAB, or again, if you've got any questions, you can just raise your hands and I will do my best to answer them. That is a worthwhile question to ask. The question was, can I have all the answers to the exam? No. But, I mean, what's that? If you beat 15. That's a good one. He's like, I want the answer. Try running it again. Yes, sir. Sure, yeah.
Well, no, like whenever I've run it once, it puts up both histograms, but only one of them has labels.
Let me see your code.
But if I run it multiple times, the other one pops up.
Try and close your figures. It might be overwriting your figures. You don't need the hold on. You actually don't need the hold on component right here. See, here's the thing. So you've actually got the figure showing up twice. See, here's what I would do if I were you. So watch what I'm going to do. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. All right, because I don't want to lose what you've written. I'm going to put it down here. Then we'll hit Control R. See, now it's commentary. It's not going to execute, but you have it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. First thing I'm going to do, you don't actually need that and that. Okay? Now, the way you've got this written, you're doing a histogram, you're modifying it, then you're doing the histogram again. Okay, so here's what I would do. Take that, put that down there, delete that one. You don't need that either. See, so now what it's doing is it's plotting the histogram, then it's doing a bunch of stuff to it. Do you see what I mean? Now, when you run it, let's do that. Now when you run it, now that figure is plotted exactly the way it should, and when you open up your let me open that in the folder. Your computer's locking up.
It does that.
Well, when you open it up in the folder, this figure will match that. So now all you have to do is modify that code in that fashion, or you could literally just copy and paste it and change everything from 2002 to 2004 and just run that. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Anytime that you do the histogram command again, what it's going to do is it's going to overwrite everything you just did. Now the hold on command probably works, but that's, if you notice, remember how your series was sort of showing up like a dark red or brown? what was happening is it was doing your first histogram, then plotting the second one on top of it. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay, it gives both the files as like different plots or histograms.
Yeah.
Is it fine if it just overrides it whenever I run it?
Well, here, let me, I can't see. Where's your folder? Let me see your folder. Huh. Why is it not recognizing this as a picture? That is weird. Bless you. You can delete that right there. You don't need that. And same thing here. Let me run it. That is weird. It knows it's a JPEG.
Yeah, I just can't open it.
Okay, let's try this. It's there.
Really weird.
That is weird.
On
Yeah, that's a setting on your computer. The code's right. I don't know what's up. If the code is right, I'm at a loss.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Somebody went on and changed some settings on your computer, or there's a driver that's not loading, which is why your Photos app isn't recognizing the JPEG, but I opened it with Paint and it works. So
Okay, so the code's fine.
code's fine. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah. That's because this has been, is that an M file or a .mat file? No, that's a .m file. You saved it as an M file. You could redo the data import and just recreate the files right now. It wouldn't take but a couple minutes. I don't know what happened. No, here. Let me see something.
Special at my house, I just saved it and exported it.
All right, so we'll do import data.
I already have the TV data.
Right there, right? Let's do the 2004. So that, remove the first row, right? Right? Exclude rows. Import, right? And then you should have that, right? Okay, and then you do save Y 2004. And then if you look, see, it's not an M file. See, it's this Microsoft Access, what have you.
I did the exact same thing on my computer and my laptop. And that's just what it does. I don't know, I did save in a script instead of saving in
That's it. Because it's expecting a mat file. When you saved it as a script, you saved it as an M file. So the save and the load command expects a .mat file, not an M file. You see what I mean? Now what you could do is this, like technically, yeah, see, look. See, if you open up this 2004, that's all you did, was you actually saved the words, save 2004. If you would have run the script, you would have gotten an M file and a mat file. Does that make sense? Try it now. I bet it doesn't work. Somebody try their Site CS folder. It works? All right, Site CS folder works. Yay.
You're all doomed.
Here, I'll let you mess with that. Yep. Yes, I don't care about the pictures, but the map files. I need the map files. What's up? Where's your folder? Is that the folder you're running off of? C users candies.
This is desktop name.
Were these variables already there though?
No, they're loaded whenever I load the program.
Now run it. I'll be. Now I'm at a loss.
So yeah, I mean that's why I'm like, why is
Wait.
it on here?
Let me
It's
see
just
something though.
Figures will be.
That's why. Because your Active Directory is C users Gandy downloads, and they're right there. That's why.
Gotcha. How do I remove this? How can this not be my directory?
Well, here's what I would do. Okay. First thing I would do is I would copy these, copy them, then go right here. Do you see what I selected?
Yeah.
The window. Okay, so you're on your desktop. Main. And then select that folder. Now, paste them. Now run your program and it'll work. Because now that directory is matching what that is.
Right.
That's what it was. So you had just saved them, and you just happened to save them in the directory that matched what you were running. Hold on for 1 sec. Yes? Okay, what?
It was like every time I try to set the gens, it's just not.
Well, no. That was right.
Oh, that was right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But hold on, just put a. That looks right. But here's the thing. The reason it. Go ahead and put a semicolon there. See, if you run your program right now, it's not going to work. Okay. The reason why is because where did you save these at?
On the same exact file.
What's that?
On the file that was just down. Like up
Okay, all right, then you need to change. Honestly, if I were you, I would put it in your V drive and then put this script in your V drive. Make sure that the map file and the script file are in the same location, and it'll work.
Okay.
Did you do it? Screen capture that, right? Yes. Nah, I don't know about all that. I said we talk about it.
These two like disappear and everything.
All right. Let me see. Where did you save them to?
I got them under the same seat right here.
Now, where is your script?
My script is right here.
Okay, let me see. And what you need to do is this. You got to change that to that. See, so now that folder matches that.
All right.
Now, run.
Re-download these two.
No, they're there. Run it.
They're there.
Yeah.
All right.
Now run it. Change the folder. That's what it is. Now, what the?
See, I did the same thing and it did that.
Here's the
again. I
problem.
was like, what?
Your program is not in that file. See, you're saying it's not. It's running that one.
I didn't know it was there.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do.
I thought deleted.
I'm going to copy and paste it. And I'm gonna,
That's exactly what I did, but
but is the one you're working on right now the more current one? Like, this one's the one you want.
yeah.
Okay, look right here. This one in your MATLAB folder was edited last night at 11:13 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
The one you're working on right now was edited today
Yeah,
at
I just
6.
copied and pasted it. Trying it.
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem right there where you copy and paste it. What I'm going to do is, watch this. Let me close MATLAB, okay? Now I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to say, do you want to replace the file? If you compare the infos, I want the newer file. Okay, so we'll pick this one. Continue. Now, that's your new file. I'm going to open that one. It's in the same folder as this.
You have to delete the other one.
I just did. I overwrote it. Now run it. Oh, there's your problem. Figure, see, that's figure 1, so this has to be figure 1, and that has to be figure 2. Now run it. Now that we're up and running, yeah. Just one, yeah, because what it did is it popped up one and then it popped up the other and it did it like that. So, but you should have 2 JPEGs in your folder. All I want, all right, so everybody's clear. All I want in your Site CS folder is your scripts and your map files. Everything else I can generate by just running your program again. So I don't need the JPEGs. Hold on, what? Here's what, watch. So you got Fig 1. Fig 1. Oh, don't say that. It's the little things, right? I remember that system. It's interesting. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording if that's okay, because I feel like everybody's pretty good. So, unless anybody has any other big questions. All right. Signing out for Engineering 111.